Hello and welcome to a special episode of Tell Me More, a hospitality data podcast. We are recording at the Hotel Data Conference. It's August 7th. We're in Nashville. Jan, how you feeling?
It's the 18th and we're very excited to be back. Sold out again. Heads up, next year we will sell out again, so get your tickets now.
The 18th Hotel Data Conference, Isaac?
It's great. It's been wonderful. It's always a great experience. It's good to be at the back end of the conference now, and it's all almost over. But it's great to see old friends, colleagues, and hang out in Nashville.
Well, and to see so many people come again and again
and again and again and
It's an annual
again.
pilgrimage to come to talk about data.
They love the data. They love the podcast. So of course we had to record a special episode.
And I got multiple selfies again with people who are fans of the podcast.
Oh my
Pretty cool.
gosh. Listeners,
We need to
you
meet
are
and greet.
8x10 glossies.
These guys need an audience. Tell them you love them. But you know what? It can't be all just fun and games. I've got to ask you about the data. That's what we're here for.
Yep.
So, a new STR and Tourism Economic Forecast, which of course we have broadcast from the rooftops. You've heard it already, but Isaac, recap it for us.
Well, the biggest news is that we've raised our forecast, and that shouldn't be a surprise. We've been chasing it a while this year because, again, when we began this year, we really didn't see the strength in the year, and it's just been very, very strong. Most surprising was the strength outside of the World Cup markets, right? So our forecast now for the full year is 4.4%. And again, that feels right. We have some really easy comps coming into the second half of the year, so that should drive it. Good, favorable holiday conditions, and in terms of the placement of the holidays, not the holiday conditions. And then for 2027, we're at 2.1. We also raised that. The big news on 2027 is be very mindful that June and July are not going to be great because that's when the World Cup took place. And again, we do see a very flat to down RevPAR in those 2 months. And again, we'll be looking at that even in further detail.
And you won't let anybody forget that, right?
We talk about tough
Please don't call us and say, what happened in June and July?
We warned you.
Yes.
Jan, what reaction have you heard here at the event from people about that forecast change?
So I think people are not surprised that we upped it. So that is sort of baked in. If you listen to the earnings calls that just happened for the second quarter, if you talk to the operators here, they're like, yep, absolutely, it's been a really solid year. And then of course, if you were exposed to the World Cup, you had a really strong June and July. I think there are two ways to look at next year's RevPAR growth. You could say either, we're cutting the growth rate by 50%. We're going from a 4% growth rate to a 2% growth rate. That's the negative take. Or you could say, look, it's growth on growth. We're growing 4 this year, we're growing 2 next year, so smooth sailing. So it depends
glass
on which
half
camp.
empty,
Exactly.
glass half full,
Depending which
but there is
camp.
cumulative growth.
Correct, exactly. Yeah.
This is a data conference. We all love data. So I want to ask you both, and we're going to keep it short since it's a special episode, and we will have a full one dropping later this month for you all. But I want to ask you both to share a couple surprising or particularly interesting data points that you picked up this week at the event, because a lot of people assume that Isaac and Jan, they know all the data already, they know it all. I want to know what surprised you. Isaac, anything in particular you can share?
One of our team members did a whole presentation on events. And what he found was very, very surprising. And that team member is Nick Seaman, I should say his full name.
Yes.
He's on the team,
Yes,
so I'm sorry
exactly.
about that. And I just thought the work he did was amazing. And really breaking it down, he described 3 types of travelers. The pilgrim, someone like me.
Isaac is a pilgrim traveler.
I'm a
That was a
pilgrim,
great one.
Yeah, where I travel for shows and things. And the professional, which is where we are today.
Exactly.
We're professionals. And then the tourists, and how they react so differently, and how hoteliers should, when they see an event, they should really start breaking down what is the type of travelers, and that will be a better indicator of how they should forecast and the lift they'll receive versus, Taylor Swift's in town. Well, yes and no, she's probably different than everyone else. But it was really fascinating. All the work he's done, I thought it was very, very good work.
And we've heard so much this week about shorter booking window,
Right.
and he had really interesting data about how those different travelers behave
Right.
leading up to an event, how long they stay after, do they get out of town. So that was a good one. Jan, what was a surprising data tidbit for you?
I talked to Carrie Mack from Highgate, who's a longtime supporter of the conference and is here every year, and we were talking about next year, right, 2027, and she said, I think about it as 10-2. You know, you forecast 10 months and then you forecast June, July separately, and in her presentations, she's not basically, I put words in her mouth, but I think she's not giving one number. She's saying, here's what happens for the 10 months that don't have the World Cup, and here's what happens to the other 2 months. Because I think if you just look at the 2027 number as one number, you immediately get pushback from people. How come this is so low? It's like, well, because we have a tough comp. So this 10-2 framework I thought was really helpful.
It's almost how you forecast minus certain markets that may have had a big event
Exactly.
or a weather impact, or even when we would talk about without 2019 and with 2019 or 2020.
Yeah.
What other interesting data tidbit?
Well, again, this has been a fabulous year, right? And so in my session on P&L, the biggest outcome is that margins are still being compressed, right? You are seeing growth in gross operating profit, so the absolute dollar amount is still going up, but margin itself, the efficiency metric, is going down. And we just kept reminding folks that yes, we're still in a very high inflationary environment, so regardless of the top line is going up, there's still a lot of pressure out there for operators. And again, trying to find that those savings, but without impacting the experience that people want, especially at the very high end. So I thought that was really fascinating in that work, even though I got to present it, but just seeing the outcome of that work was just fascinating to me.
And that was referenced, by Amanda, by myself,
right.
And then in a lot of the breakout sessions just now, Sloan Dean did it in his AI session. He talked about your presentation, so it really resonated.
Well, I just want to let you know, listeners, that my biggest fan is sitting right over there.
So of course I had to quote it.
Jan, any other surprises?
Yeah, so I was approached by Anna, who works for the International Cruise Association.
Okay.
And she was in my macro to micro session, and we were talking about how
I
she
put
liked
these
it.
guys to work at this event.
We did, yes.
Really. But she said, look, this is so interesting, Jan. In our industry, cruises, we talk about sustainability and impact on the local markets all the time, everywhere, at every conference. And this is not a sustainability driven conference. Like, we don't talk about this at all. I had like
True.
a very, very short 8-minute sort of conversation starter about global warming. She said, that's all we talk about all the time. So she said it was sort of interesting, a very, very different take on travel, on tourism. They have the sustainability lens in every conference, and we just don't do that. So I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
Sure, which of course European and any other non-North American regional event typically does as well. So I'm going to share with you both the interesting factoid that kept coming up for me as I was popping in sessions. People are curious about the impact. You mentioned profitability, and we've talked a lot about P&L, F&B, about the impact that travelers and consumers who are on weight loss drugs is having on hotel restaurant profitability and costs. And we've talked about it briefly here and there, and I think we always kind of say, oh, that's not really that big of a deal yet. Yet, because lots of people were asking this question, and a lot of our speakers this week had some very interesting takes on the trends that they're seeing in their hotels. So something interesting to watch.
And just, yes, we are seeing declines in F&B. The profitability, that margin is staying the same, but we are seeing an absolute decline. But we also have seen a trend in the industry, not only from the weight loss drugs, but also of a lot of, like here at the W, they've completely outsourced
Here
all
at the
their
Grand Hyatt.
No,
Grand
W.
Hyatt.
The W.
Oh, over at the W.
The W. They out here in I should say here in Nashville at the W. There, that's very clear. They outsourced all their restaurant outlets to Jose Andres' group. So you're not seeing that go into the hotel P&L because now it's
just a lease.
Yes,
Sure.
it's just a lease.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So that's where we need to break down, and we can really discern: is it a change in how the outlets themselves are being operated, or is it human behavior change.
consumer change.
Right, and we don't know yet.
Yeah, and I thought Alex Koch, who has a casino background, yesterday on
Yes.
the main stage was saying, yeah, less dessert, but hey, the money that they're saving on the dessert, they're spending on better appetizers.
Premium
So that was so
appetizers.
interesting.
Right. So interesting trends to watch, particularly as profitability continues to be a main subject. Guys, I think that's a great note to end it on for this special episode. Remember, listeners, you can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. We've got a monthly episode every month, and we'll be dropping that next one later in August. So find all the news you need about the hotel industry at costar.com/hotel news. Find these guys at LinkedIn. See you next time.
See ya.
I'm Terence Baker, News Editor, Europe, Middle East and Africa, and I'm the host of The Upgrade, a CoStar News Hotels podcast for the EMEA region. In it, I discuss with special guests the pressures, challenges, joys and exhilaration that comes with managing, owning and developing hotels in our glorious multifaceted industry. Discovering the EMEA region from the scenic northern shores of Norway to the heights of Table Mountain in South Africa, and most likely some chat about birdwatching, distance running and the English Premiership. Join us wherever you find your podcasts, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify and on other platforms.
This episode of Tell Me More, a hospitality data podcast, was recorded on August 7th, 2026. The episode was edited by Sean McCracken. Find all hotel industry news at costar.com/hotel news. Thanks for listening.